Hi, Rebecca.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, good too, thank you.
All right, all right. Where are you reaching out from?
Where am I based?
Yeah.
West Midlands in the UK.
Oh, wonderful. Awesome. I'm
Yeah,
in San
you?
Diego, San Diego,
Okay,
California. Won-
nice.
Awesome, awesome. Cool. All right, you ready to talk some AI?
Yeah,
All right, all right. Okay, cool. So let's do that. First let's get aligned with your level of expertise, experience, and what brings you here. What specifically about AI are you interested in?
um, business use. So we are aware as a business that AI is becoming more and more popular, but also can help us more and more. So I have been looking at how we can implement AI into the business
Yeah.
very basic beginner level. A couple of people have used ChatGPT. I haven't. I've been looking at software instead of like the raw GPT stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So like systems and um, programs, I guess, rather than developing prompts myself. But a couple of us have looked at prompts, and so just to see what we should be doing. Are we behind? Is there something we're missing? That kind of
Yeah.
stuff.
Wonderful. And what is your business?
Recruitment.
Recruitment. Okay. Wonderful. Great. A business that will always be in demand.
Yes, although I have heard HR and recruitment are going to be the first that rely particularly heavily on AI. I think some of our processes can already be completed with AI.
Okay. I like that. I like that a lot. Okay. So let's see where to go from here. Have you ever used ChatGPT?
No,
Okay. Okay,
not
good.
myself.
So okay, good. So let's start with that one. Um, but before you do ChatGPT or create an account, let me chat for maybe a minute or two about perhaps the reasons why uh, people adopt are early adopters and others are not. So, for instance, I was an early adopter of ChatGPT, but I was not an early adopter of many things.
Hmm.
Um, so uh, I think it has to do with values. So life values. So getting even though this is a conversation about AI or increasing income, I believe that the the awareness, the person that's going to be sitting in front of the computer or using the chat GPT app to do the prompt is a person, and and having a level of awareness, conscious awareness to the values when it comes to work or when it comes to not working, it will help to then when you are using chat GPT to do it in a way that's you're going to be using less time compared to other people, and you're going to be getting a lot more done
Yeah.
because you'll be consciously choosing to remember why you're doing what you're doing, what's your end goal. And the end goal is not to use chat gpt, probably the end goal is to help your client.
Hmm.
The end goal is to create income so your family has a lifestyle that is amazing.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, good. Because then you can bring that emotion, that feeling, that awareness, that um, confidence more and more into when working with AI. Because what I've noticed so far since November, any limitations is self-imposed. Not that it's bad, it's just that been conditioned to have self limitations because there were limitations of money and access to information.
Mm.
Now it seems like There's not.
Yeah, yeah, which is also very risky in itself.
Okay, how come? How can it be risky?
So for us, for example, it's if our data is not quite accurate, or if we're pulling stuff that's copyrighted, or if there's inherent bias in it. So we become, I guess my fear is we become reliant on the software because it's so quick and so efficient and it looks so professional and so good that actually we don't necessarily fact check it, or we just use it without reading through and tailoring it. So you're right with the values. If we're shooting off something into ChatGPT, for example, and it's pulling back excellent keywords and buzzwords, and it looks really professional, but actually we haven't read through and made sure it aligns with our values, that could be a reputational risk for ourselves.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Makes sense. Makes a lot of sense to fact check, double check. And AI can start doing that, can do that itself when you ask. When a user asks for it, it will tell. It's like a 3-year-old who has almost all the information that has been online. It has the data, but it doesn't have, say, context. It needs to be told exactly what you
Yeah.
want. So it requires the user to release some what's the word, with in communication with humans that are quote unquote understood agreements or silent agreements. In AI, we can't have those.
Mm.
We in AI, we need to think if this is a 3-year-old who has almost all of the information in language, um, then it requires some more thinking, some more time spent invested in a prompt creation phase. And sometimes the prompt creation can be like, so you can be someone that can do a prompt that has, say, 10 sentences. I'm exaggerating a little bit, but let's say a prompt has 10 sentences, and each sentence is you telling AI, this is who I want you to act as, and this is who I am. The more it knows who you want it to be like, act like, it will act like it, meaning it will take a persona. For instance, if I want to chat with one of my favorite authors, book authors, I can ask it to, hey, act as if you are, say, Tim Ferriss from the 4-Hour Workweek, or act as Stephen Covey from the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. It can do that. And then it can start chatting back at me as if it was Stephen Covey or Tim Ferriss. Then I can tell who I am. I am a coach, a business coach, a hypnotherapist, a real estate investor. I'm a soccer player. This is my disc profile, or my 16 personalities, 4-letter code. This is my love language, my top 2. These are my love languages. It will then start behaving and talking with me accordingly. So each chat can be a separate conversation with a specific avatar that is two-way. The AI assistant, let's call the assistant, I want you to be X, and who you speak, this is who you're speaking to right now, it's Y. So it could be you as the user, or you could be a client. I'm helping a client. I want you to be the top, a combination of the top recruitment intelligence that has ever existed, and I want you to help this client. This is who they are. This is what they need.
Okay. So
Then,
you mentioned personality traits. So if you said I like detail or I'm not interested in the detail and then put the prompt, it would pull back two different things.
yeah,
Okay. Okay.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. It would. It's really. I, I've paid consultants, mentors, and coaches over the years since last 20 years. I think the first time I did that, it was through real estate investing in 2004. I paid about $20,000 to learn how to buy houses without money, with no money down. And I learned the thing and I started doing it. And then I started teaching others how to do it. So
Mm.
it's that information now. Most of that information is out there. The information I paid 20 grand for, I can find online without paying for it. Even though I still, the same um, consulting I paid for is the same consulting I do as well. What's the difference then? If people can find now this information through ChatGPT or through YouTube, um, I believe that people don't need information. We already have enough information. I think what we need is the right information at the right time. And that to me is art. That's art. For you to be someone that can give your client the right information at the right time, even if you don't have the recruitment yet, but it's helping them, it's helping you. So I think the next wave of consultants and service providers is realizing that the information that used to cost now can be accessed freely. However, people don't need more information, because even if they have the information, they still have to deal with their values and their time management and their energy management. So
Yeah.
information is not the answer. And now people like you and me in the service providers, we can then start doing a lot of the thinking for the client in a world where information now can be freely accessed. However, information is not it. It's a relationship, it's trust, it's intuition. Because the more information there is, the more consultants will be valuable, because clients will need to know which information to implement in a sea of free abundance of information.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's really, I'm very excited about what's happening, and I believe it will bring a lot of good people, good leaders, managers, entrepreneurs, um, people that have been uh, doing the best they can with their heart to help their clients. If they can use ChatGPT wisely, is not using a lot of it, is just, it's not using, I'll take it back, it's not even using ChatGPT wisely, is being more aware of what their values are, the values of the client, and then when approaching the assistant, being honest with that it's like a 3-year-old that has the power to crawl into an abundance of information, and it will give exactly what you ask for. And that is good and bad. It's good because you get what you ask for. It's bad because you might not be aware of what you did not ask.
Yeah.
So it's art. And you get better. And this I've noticed with clients of mine and myself included, it's helped my communication with the people in my life, because using AI, I've been realizing how much assumptions I was using in my communication. And with AI, there's no such thing, at least not yet. You can't assume. And then bringing that to relationships with people, it's nice to bring that too, that we can't assume, even though some agreements have been silent agreements. I don't know if that's the correct term, but some of these agreements have been happening for decades. Sometimes it's good to check in. So what's coming up for you in this conversation that we haven't even opened ChatGPT yet?
Mm. Yeah, I think it's very interesting, like you say, about the values, and having those at the forefront when working on these tools, because yeah, they've got so much power behind them if you don't control them, and like you say, if you don't know what you're not asking them, so you can't become reliant on them. You need to keep that context and those values at the forefront whenever you use it, which I think is important. So yeah, I'd agree on that.
Yeah, totally. And it's kind of like when you do that, it's almost like you ascending to a new level of awareness, which is awesome for you. And but also be able to use this tool that I can't believe. I mean, parts of me does believe why it's free or only $20 a month. Parts of me feels like this thing should be 5-10 grand a month. And if it was, perhaps then people would use it more wisely.
Or
So
not
like,
use it. I know we wouldn't be using
right,
it.
true, true. But I do feel like there's both. I think for the people that don't have the money, they're using in a way that perhaps is not making money. It's helping them. It's for mental health. Like a lot of people, I've been actually coaching a lot of people to use it for mental health. Uh,
Okay.
yeah, it's amazing. For relationships, how to have one chat per key relationship in your life, your life partner, one son, daughter. Like you can have a different one for each, and then learn more how, any blind spots that you were having, as the more you teach the assistant. My son is like this, I am like this, he said this, I didn't get it, what should I do? Act as if you are one of the top relationship coach in the world, or a combination. It's so vast. And back to values, then if you remember values first, then you will know when to say, okay, I need to shut the machine down, because I could be here for 23 hours and sleep one.
Mm, yeah. So how do you use AI then? How does it come up for yourself?
Yeah, so for myself, so relationships, key relationships, um clients,
Do you
um
use it from a business perspective as well, or is the focus very much at the moment on interpersonal relationships?
it's both, both. And each client, each business relationship, it is interpersonal in a way. So it's learning how to speak to the client in the language they speak. And when I mean language, I mean more in their values language. Do they value family or money higher?
Okay, so you're not using it to build, like to write content or anything like that. You're using it to understand people and how to communicate better with them.
I don't use it. I sometimes I use to write content. Sometimes I do use to write content, because I have so many sessions every week. I have tons of content because I'm speaking a lot.
Mm.
But if you're not, then yeah, you can just ask it to write the content. And I've noticed that my content, ChatGPT is not trained in my content. And at first, I was using it to write my posts, my emails, my text messages, and then one of the things I say for people just learning AI is don't go in front of don't open ChatGPT before you did at least a 30-second eyes closed breath work meditation type of awareness exercise. So that because the prompt, because even a 30-second eyes closed, focusing on your breathing, relaxing the body, that will reset the nervous system so that the prompt will come out better. Because coming to AI and just typing, you will get amazing information, but it may be an abundance of information that is not exactly what you need right now. Sometimes it's a very small differentiator there, that it can be, okay, here are 10 posts that you could do, 10 blog say titles or email subject lines. And I noticed that, you know what, my voice, it's not training my voice yet, and I want to, since I have probably a couple thousand hours of me talking, so I want to start creating my own. But since it's not trained in my voice, in the way I communicate, I'm going to write my own. But if you're not there, then yeah, use it. And then the more it knows about you, it will start speaking more like you. So you can feed, say, a call like this. You can feed the transcript into it and ask, hey, notice how I speak. How do I speak? And then ask it. So you can also, when you tell it things, you can ask, does this make sense? Do you understand? And then you can say, okay, you speak like this, you ask this type of questions. Okay. Then feed more and more and more. That way you can start doing posts if you want the post to be in your voice. Or does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
Yeah. There's a difference between the app on the phone and the computer website. I recommend having both.
Okay.
And because the one on the phone, there's a button that you can press, talk into it, and it will brush up the prompt. So the last time I used it, I was getting back into fermenting vegetable juice, just like how I did 3 years ago when I was a farmer. I had a farmer experience for like 6 months. It was amazing. So I learned how to ferment, and how healthy the probiotics, and lots of jars, glass jars, and fruit from the garden. I mean, veggies. So I was asking, hey, what is the what's the ratio? How long after I make the veggie juice, how long does it stay in the jar outside of the fridge, and then when does it go in the fridge? And so I was just talking like this, and then it made my prompts, it made my words a little better. And then it gives me the option, like, does this look okay? So this is a default on the mobile app. You can have plugins like this on the computer, but that's the one of the cool things about the mobile app. And then he told me, yeah, it's 2 days outside, and then you put it in the fridge. So I'm like, okay, cool. And whatever you have on the app matches or syncs with the website.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll give you a case study of how I use it with one of my clients. So one of my clients is a attorney, and he is in the middle of selling his business, and had a stroke a year ago, nearly died, and has a teenage son who is really in going through a phase where he needs his father to show up a little bit more like a role model when it comes to fitness and health. So his son wants to work out with dad. It's a really beautiful thing. So after one of the calls, I grabbed the transcription of the call and I put into Claude AI. Claude is similar to ChatGPT, Claude.ai. And the difference is that Claude can take documents or PDFs or text files that are bigger than some of the limitations of ChatGPT. So I use Claude for that. Also free, which is freaking amazing. And I asked, can you tell me the summary? So give me 10 bullet points. Here's the summary. Can you tell me what, as a coach, what I can do to support my client by next week, by next session? And he gave me about 10. This is what I can do as a coach. And then next I asked, can you create metrics so I can give to the client so he is reminded of what he promised during the session, the things he wants to do, in a way that it's easy for him to do in the next 7 days. And he gave me the metrics, work out, have the conversation with the wife about specific thing, have conversation with the buyer of the business by such date. And then I asked, can you put that into a spreadsheet? I said, yeah, here it goes. And he did. It happened in, say, 5 minutes. All of that in 5 minutes, something that would have taken me an hour or two, and it would not have been as comprehensive. So I think the name of the game with AI assistants is humans taking care of their wellness so well, so that when they are using the AI assistants, the imagination is running super wild, super far out, high. It's like there's no cap as far as language goes to what can be asked. So it's if a person is going to then go in the realm into imagination and creativity, I believe one needs to really take care of self and take care of the physical body and the mental health and emotional health. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And if you hear sounds, is because there's a construction site right next door.
No, I hadn't. No problem.
So any questions specific to your business? Of any ideas that are coming up, or how would you use this? What do you need most? If you could hire a team of 5 people, what would you have them do? And as you answer this question, start thinking what part of this can be done through a AI assistant.
Yeah, so I'd never thought of it the way you've explained. So we were thinking of it as basically smart automation. So taking out manual repetitive tasks. Never thought of using it for interpersonal relationships or for supporting conversations or for anything like that. It was very much how can we automate repetitive tasks to give people the opportunity to have those personal relationships outside of the admin tasks they've been doing. Which is why I've been looking elsewhere other than ChatGPT into systems and programs instead that would be able to run that automatically rather than needing a prompt every time. But I know that individuals in our business are looking at it for things like you mentioned, like LinkedIn posts. Transcribing and summarizing is something we've discussed but not trialed yet. But there's a lot of programs that do that as well as other things. So there's a lot of things that do kind of interview scheduling and then video interviews and then transcribe the video interviews. So that's part of a wider piece, not just the transcribe and summary, but also the removal of needing someone to kind of match calendars up and find gaps and that manual admin task as well. And actually, so that's been our focus rather than what you've been going through.
Yeah. Okay. Have you ever used Zapier?
No, I've heard of it, but not used it.
Yeah. So I started using it, and Zapier does a lot of, is a website that can communicate between, say, one of my zaps, they call it zaps or automations, is whenever a person signs up for a class like this one today on Zoom, Zapier will receive the person's name and email and send it to MailChimp. MailChimp is my CRM, and it will tag that contact with the name of the event, such as artificial intelligence, increase income with AI assistants or ChatGPT.
Okay.
So
So yeah,
Zapier,
that. Yeah.
So Zapier is something that will come in very handy in your operations.
Okay.
And it has been a lifesaver, a business saver for many business owners. It can have a learning curve. What I'm in the process of doing now is training human assistants to then have access to, as people become my clients, they not only they get this type of coaching here, but they also, instead of having to learn a new skill, if they want to, if they're excited, then yeah, learn it. It's very exciting. But if they don't want to, if they want be in their art or in whether they're someone that just thrives being in front of the client and talking on the phone or Zoom and not creating automations, then let someone else do it. So another, back to the values, is being honest with strengths and honest with what are not strengths, the weaknesses, and being okay with letting go of tasks that are not in the strength circle. Like being honest with, you know what, it's 2023. I need to be honest about not doing the things that someone else can do better and focusing on the things that only you can do, which that's your gift. That's your unique ability there. So I've been training virtual human assistants to also offer to clients, so that they don't have to go through the learning curve of Zapier, because it's almost like, it's not like building a website, it's less than that, but sometimes it can have its moments that things are not working, I'm not techy. So letting someone else do that, I think it's also smart. But yeah, for you, Zapier, and also I think an assistant, like human assistant, could help a lot with automation, so that you can focus on things that an assistant would never be able to do, which perhaps plan the next 10 years for your business. Are you the owner of the business?
No, I'm not.
Okay. So plan your career. What do you want your career to be? What's your role in the company?
Operations manager.
Okay. Yeah. So then you can manage and not do, right? So you can manage people or artificial assistants instead of doing the operations.
Yeah.
Would that be weird if you were just to manage and not do things?
No, but it's not necessarily, so the business benefit isn't going to come from automating what I do. It's going to come from automating what the people doing the day-to-day tasks and recruitment are doing.
Yeah. Right. Right. So well, if they're doing, then it's not automated.
No, and that's our goal. So the admin day-to-day tasks that they're doing will be replaced with AI, and they can take the time to build relationships, get new business, things like that. All the
Right.
personal touches that do benefit from having a person there instead.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Yes. So do you have people in your team that you feel like they are would be amazing to become the say the AI implementer for the company or to lead that part?
And that's what we're looking at. So we're looking at kind of a sandpit with a variety of people throughout the business. People that have already tried it, people that had no experience of it, people that are just interested in AI, and running sandpit sessions for them to kind of run and test certain things. So I'm
Yeah.
looking at tools they can test.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think between ChatGPT and Claude AI, it's that those two will be more. I think okay, Zapier. Let's go back to automation. I need to remember that what you need is automation so that the humans are freed up from
Yes.
repetitive tasks. So that's Zapier.
Okay.
That will solve the problem there. So it's then, you know, how long will it take to implement Zapier? You can start today. Start implementing, you know, it could be 1,000 zaps that will be created in the next, say, 3 months. But then the business will be like a well-oiled machine. Even zaps, it doesn't require, but it's a lot of it is also limited to the imagination of the user.
Okay.
So yeah, if you go back to values, then it can help a lot, because if you remember what the company values are, what the mission, what the vision is, keep going back and forth. Values, small picture. What's this zap? Is exact. Why are we doing this zap here? Oh, we're doing because of this. It can help a lot to implement things that are that may be boring at first, but then if the people that are doing it, they remember what the vision is and the mission, they'll be able to do it in a way that they'll start thinking, oh, we can do this other zap, or we can do one zap that replaces 10 zaps.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. So it's that trial and testing, isn't it? And people using it.
yes, but the right people though, the right people, you know, imagine if the company's a bus, make sure that the driver is on the driver's seat, the passengers on the passenger seat, make sure the people are on the right seats, which has to do with strengths, that, you know, that they're there to focus on their strengths, which personality helps. If everyone in your company has a personality profile, then remember that Remember that they have a personality profile. If they haven't yet, have everyone create one on 16personalities.com, for instance. That way,
Yeah.
you as the operations manager, you could, you're aware, oh, Joe, he needs to have things that are spoken to him or written to him in a very short and concise fashion, whereas Margaret, she needs a check-in. How are you? And I didn't, this could be, Joe could be that person, and Margaret could be like, no, just give it to me straight. So you as the operations manager can have that knowledge. That way you're managing not only people, but you're managing visions and missions. So also getting to conversations with each person. What's your 5-year vision for your life? And getting more interpersonal. If when that happens, people, a lot of basic human needs are met at work, and they'll stay for a long time, and they'll be loyal, and they'll go above and beyond.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's interesting. Thank you.
Yeah. Welcome.
Okay. So we probably need to look at starting getting something together and getting people looking at Zapier instead of ChatGPT then. So our focus needs to be more on automation tools rather than just open prompt tools.
Yeah, for now, I think so, because it may be that you already have a really good business, and people are just spending time on repetitive tasks.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So that's really helpful. Thank you very much.
Yeah, welcome. Here's what I would like. If you want to say, give me a big thanks when we get off, or even here. If you can say a few words that I can use as a testimonial for this time that we had together.
Yeah. Yeah. No. So I guess with AI always changing, it's really interesting to get different perspectives on it. And you gave perspectives that I hadn't thought of. So it's definitely food for thought. So yeah, I think that would kind of summarize it in that opening eyes to using AI in new ways that I hadn't thought of even before.
Yeah, it's huge. The opportunities are massive.
Mm.
And what are your company's goals for the next, say, quarter, or for next year when it comes to sales?
I wouldn't be able to comment on that.
Okay. All right, cool. Well, I do offer um a program to help companies increase income and their bottom line. Would you like me to email you a link for that so you can have a conversation with whoever writes the checks, and see if it makes sense for people in your business to come to sessions like this so they can start thinking differently and bringing more value into the workplace?
If you have a description on the content that you'd cover, then yeah, I'm happy to look through that and pass that on if I think it would be relevant.
Okay, cool. Sounds good. I'll send you an email with that.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome, Rebecca. Enjoy your evening.
And you. Bye.
Bye.